Hello, welcome to Building Multiple Income Streams. My name is Thorn Coyle. Who am I? I am the author of 50 books and collections. I've taught in 9 countries, on 4 continents, and in 25 US states. I'm a Gen X magic worker, a queer non-binary human, self-diagnosed autistic, and CPTSD. And I also have an autoimmune disorder. And for an extra special bonus, I have a brain injury. Why am I telling you all that? Well, of course, it's by way of introduction, but more importantly, sometimes when I talk to people about my career, they say, I can't do that. It's too much for my life and my abilities. And I'm here to say, if I can do it, so can you. So let's dive in. Why income streams? I'll talk a bit more about what income streams are later, but basically, they're all the little trickles that come from various sources making up one whole. And I have found in my career that multiple income streams take the pressure off my career. They take the pressure off my writing and my publishing. If I were to only have one income stream, for example, Amazon Kindle Unlimited, I'd always be worried about feeding that beast, and I'd always be worried about what if it goes away? My whole career is over, right? There are other reasons I appreciate income streams too. They've helped me build a stable career. All of my ebooks, all of my print books, my Patreon, my Kickstarter, everything, translations that I'm working on for the future, hopefully film deals for the future, audio, which is another thing many authors do. They all work together so that my career does not rely on any one income stream to remain successful or to become successful. So let's talk a little bit more about that. The other thing income streams do, besides taking the pressure off building a stable career, is they mean I can do the tasks I'm up for. We can do the tasks we're up for. Focus on what you can and when you can. I can accomplish a task even when I don't really feel up to it. And I can switch tasks to what my brain can handle on any given day. For me, this is even true seasonally. Since moving further north to Oregon from California, and the very top of Oregon at that, I'm on the Washington-Oregon border, I realized, oh, I do best, my brain functions best when I have a lot of morning light. So during the winter here in Oregon, my generative creativity capacity is slightly diminished. So I've learned I can do better doing business tasks in the winter. It doesn't mean I don't write during the winter. I do. It just means I write less. I write a lot more and do most of my production spring through summer. I'm able to do this because I'm not on a hamster wheel, trying to crank out a book a month, a book every other month, whatever, right? A lot of authors do that and get burned out, even people who don't have different brains like we do. So the fact that I have multiple income streams means I can have this seasonal shift, this seasonal flow. And my career is not going anywhere. I have some stability. I know that there are days when I'm going to be able to work a full day and accomplish all the tasks. And there are other days where I'm barely going to be able to work an hour, maybe 2, and maybe accomplish 1 or 2 tasks. And some days I'm really not going to be able to work at all. Multiple income streams make that possible for me. Now, for some of you, your primary income stream is going to be your day job, and that's terrific. An author, David Goins, talks about a day job becoming your patron. So if you treat it that way, then you can have building blocks around your day job for writing and publishing and experimenting with building various income streams. I know a lot of writers like that. I know some writers who are building up a book catalog and publishing, looking towards when they retire and allowing their publishing career to take over and really bear fruit during that later time, right? So not relying on one income stream gives us a lot of flexibility immediately and over time. So I've already mentioned some income streams, but let's slow down a bit and get into them a little more deeply. So first of all, there are books. Ebooks are one income stream, but really ebooks, for those of us who are wide authors, we have multiple streams from one ebook, right? I've got books selling on Kindle and Amazon. I have books selling on Barnes and Noble and Apple. I have books selling on Google Play and in Kobo. I have books selling directly on my web store, on my website. One ebook, multiple income streams. The same is true for paperbacks, hardbacks, audio, translations, right? Each format is its own income stream, but each format also has underneath it multiple income streams, or at least the possibility of that if we choose to not be exclusive to one platform. Another income stream are subscriptions. I personally use Patreon and paid newsletters, right? My Patreon income is very stable, and there are things I can do to tweak it, to increase it. It's a great way of reaching readers and my audience, but it's also income I can count on every month, which is terrific. My paid newsletter is the same. I started off on Substack. I have 3 years ago, started off on Substack. I've recently switched to Beehive. And people, even though they get my newsletter for free, a lot of people like it so much, they give me money for it every month. And for those people, I offer one special monthly perk that most people don't even take me up on, which is creativity sprints together on Zoom. Other people make a lot more money off of paid newsletters than I do, even though I do make stable, steady income that's a really nice chunk of change. People who leverage their paid newsletter behind the paywall can make even more money by offering a lot of special things, advanced access, serialized stories, in-depth essays, things like that. Which brings us to another income stream that's possible for people, which is serialization. And there are many websites that offer serialization of fiction and nonfiction both. Royal Road, Wattpad, Kindle Vella, there are a lot of things that you can research about serialization. And for some people, that's perfect for them. They really love writing in 1,000 to 1,500 word chunks. They love getting feedback as they go. And then at the end of a year, sometimes even more, they have a book that they can then leverage into other income streams, right? Another subscription platform that started recently, it's by authors for authors, is called Ream. That's another one you can check out. So another income stream or income streams is direct sales. Kickstarter is my primary form of direct sales. It has been a boon to my author career. I'm currently, as I record this, working on my 10th Kickstarter campaign. It's been a terrific way for me to gain a new audience because Kickstarter, yes, it does bring some of my audience to the platform, but it's also its own audience. About 50% of almost every one of my campaigns has come directly from Kickstarter itself. So Kickstarter is a form of connecting directly with readers, doing direct sales. Shopify or WooCommerce or anything that is connected to your website where you are selling the books. Wix is another platform. I started off on Wix. I'm now transitioning to Shopify because I'm finding it has better plugins. I have access to BookFunnel for ebooks, for example. If you aren't familiar with BookFunnel, I highly recommend you check it out. Another form of direct sales I do, not very much, but some authors do a lot of, is in-person events. If you are a person who loves talking to people or who is part of fan culture, loves going to conferences or street fairs, in-person events are something I highly encourage you to check out. If that's not the case for you, in-person events may have diminishing returns. You'll have to assess that for yourself, but I encourage people to try them out. Other people do events at their local library, bookstores. There's all sorts of ways to do in-person events, but that all falls under the heading of direct sales. Another income stream that I leverage is merchandise. I only use print on demand. There are many print on demand places for merch. I personally use Printful. I like the quality of their products, and they are great at hooking to websites. I've used them for my Kickstarter fulfillment, and other people use Printify. That's another one I recommend. There are other print-on-demand companies out there that I experimented with and researched in the past, and I didn't find the quality to be good enough. So Printful and Printify are the two I recommend. Other income streams that authors use are monetizing YouTube. YouTube, if you have an author channel, a book review channel, if you like to talk about things related to your writing, it can be a great way to reach people, get the word out about your work. So in one way, YouTube can be marketing, but over time, if you build up a following, it could become an income stream. Other people, for example, some lit RPG authors who are into gaming might use Twitch or platforms like that, or TikTok. Now that TikTok allows direct sales, some people leverage TikTok as a stream of income. Affiliate marketing, if you have products that you use and stand by, you can get affiliate income. Some people do coaching. I do some of that. I started as a nonfiction author as far as publishing went, and so coaching was a natural offshoot of that. So the sky is really the limit as far as what sorts of income streams work for each author. And we all have to figure out which ones we're most attracted to and which ones we want to experiment with. So the thing I caution about building multiple income streams is that leveraging income streams is a slow, sustainable build. Don't try to do everything at once. Pace yourself. Add one stream at a time. So if you're just starting out, start with an ebook. Then experiment with print on demand. Do you want to use Ingram Spark and get into libraries and bookstores? Do you want to use Book Vault and do direct sales via Shopify or get into bookstores in England or use them for Kickstarter, right? Make all those choices, experiment. If you're starting with ebooks, you might want to start on one platform and add a platform a month, right? Start with Amazon, add Draft to Digital next, because Draft to Digital goes to many distributors, then maybe you'll add going direct to Google Play, going direct to Barnes and Noble. Kobo is another big player. Actually, they're a small player, but they are a global player, and get into a lot of stores that other places don't get into. Both Draft to Digital and Kobo have library access for ebooks. You have to choose one or the other for that. But all of these become streams of income. Once you have that set up, maybe you want to add in launching books on Kickstarter instead of launching them on retailers. I highly recommend that, even for newer authors. It's a great boost. Even if you only make a few $100s, you're not launching into the void, and you're immediately getting a small amount of income to do things like pay for editing. Plus, you'll learn the platform over time, you'll get better at leveraging it, and you'll start to make more money, increase your income, and have more income and income streams to start to add other income streams. So get one stream going, then add a second, then a third, and so on. And remember, it's a slow build. I know we all have the tendency to be in a hurry, but if we want a long-term sustainable author career, the slow build, I have found, is the best way to get there. So more on pacing. Learn to sprint for the long haul. That might sound like a contradiction, but really it's not. You schedule short modular tasks. Maybe use the Pomodoro method. The Pomodoro method is your friend. I started really using Pomodoro during my brain injury. An occupational therapist told me that all of my tasks had to be done in 10-minute chunks only, because that was all my brain could handle. So I was used to writing sprints, but adding in business sprints was a game changer for me as far as pacing goes, right? Then set a production schedule. What are your ambitions? Break those into bite-sized pieces. Then choose what you're working on this month, this week, and this afternoon, right? So that's what I mean by sprinting for the long haul. I'm doing short, tiny sprints to help slowly build my business for the long term. Because authors who try to do all the things all at once are mostly going to end up burning out. Not always, but I think it's a tendency that I have seen over the last decade in the indie author career sphere. So why am I not getting the next slide? My apologies. There we go. Nope. Now I'm going backwards. Here we go. Connecting with readers. So that's another part of building multiple income streams. Readers are everywhere. They are not all in one place. So find your best way to reach readers. Is it on Wattpad? That's how author Amelia Rose started. She has leveraged her free Wattpad career into a six-figure Ream subscription career. Other authors have leveraged serial platforms into a Kickstarter audience, right? There are a lot of ways to reach readers. Another way to reach readers is whatever your preferred social media platform is. Is your preferred social media platform YouTube, Facebook, Mastodon, TikTok? Whatever it is, find a way to connect with readers. Then share what interests you. Don't just talk about your books. Yes, talk about your books or your latest essay, but also talk about what inspires your books. What do you find interesting? What are your favorite movies or books or games? Do you write fantasy novels? Do you also know about horses? Talk about that. Do you write knitting mysteries? Share your favorite yarn this week, right? So find your readers, share your interests, make connections, right? So as I've already mentioned, making connections via social media. You can make connections via a weekly newsletter or a monthly newsletter. I love the pace of a weekly newsletter, and my readers seem to like it too. Other people tend to like monthly newsletters, but figure that out. And I highly encourage everyone, whether you think you have no audience or a large audience, if you don't have a newsletter, start one. There are plenty of free places. The platform I'm on right now, Beehive, is free for up to 2,500 subscribers if you don't monetize it. That's one option, but there are many options you can research. Another way to make connections, as that I've already mentioned, is at in-person events, if that's your jam. And that brings me to embrace content marketing. Content marketing is everything you do and say and share that is not, here's my book, right? It's those articles you found interesting. It's that song that you love. It's the photographs you take. It's art you make. It's that new science news you want to share if you're a science fiction author. So content marketing is a really helpful way to make connections. It sows goodwill and it shows readers a little window into you without having to share a ton of personal information. It helps spark connection because people think, oh, I'm interested in that too. And if this author's interested in that, I'll probably be interested in their books. I do a lot of content marketing, and as a consequence, whenever I run a Kickstarter, for example, it means people are thrilled to share it and back it, right? So for me, marketing is all about connection. And then advertising, which is under the heading of marketing, but marketing is not advertising, but advertising is marketing. Let's say that. So advertising is when you pay for placement to tell people about your books or your projects. So test that out over time. I love experimenting with putting book one in a series free and then advertising it in what I call the paid newsletters, Free Booksy, BookBub, Fussy Librarian. There's a whole host of them. And they work, some of them are more expensive, BookBub being the most expensive. Some of them are less expensive. So you can experiment with some of the cheaper ones at first and just see what happens. See what readers you reach. A lot of authors recently are having great success using cost per click ads for their direct website sales. So if they have a Shopify or WooCommerce site in which they're selling their own books directly, they might start running ads on Facebook or in other places and drive traffic to their website that way. So advertising is another way to connect with readers. I need a sip of tea, maybe two. So building a steady income helps to create what I call a mid-list author career. What is a mid-list author? The mid-list authors in old school traditional publishing were the workhorses. They were the bread and butter people. They were not the huge mega bestsellers. They were not the people who didn't make any money. They were people who built up a solid catalog, what used to be called a backlist, that stabilized, there's that word again, traditional publishing houses, right? And these mid-listers tended to last longer than writers who had quick spikes of success. And that is especially true here in the indie publishing world. My definition of an indie mid-lister is someone who makes a steady $50 to $150,000 every year. We could probably scale that all the way back down to 20K, even though that's not a that's a solid income, but it's not a full-time income. But if you're making 20,000 a year, you're heading towards that steady mid-list career. So good for you. The other thing about building a steady income is you have to embrace being both an author and a publisher. A big change for me was invoking curiosity, not only in my writing, but in business. As soon as I stopped saying, I can't do this or I hate doing this business thing, and said, I wonder what I could learn about this. What kind of research can I do? I invoked curiosity towards business, and that really shifted my business towards success. And it is part of what has enabled me to build all these multiple streams of income and my mid-list author career. So I now make a middle-class living as a writer and publisher because I've embraced that. I've embraced the business as well as the creative part. So I highly recommend that to you as well. If I can do it, so can you. I have built my fiction author career during some of the most 8 challenging years in my adult life, and I'm doing quite well. If you want to learn more about this, I'm available for questions. You can email me at thorncoyle.com or contact me at my website, thorncoyle.com. And also, I'll be running a Kickstarter in April of 2024 on my new book, The Mid-List Indie Author Mindset. So if you want to scan that QR code, you can get notified when the Kickstarter launches and get a lot more information on connecting with readers, cultivating success, and leveraging multiple streams of income to build a successful author and publisher career. Thank you so much for listening to my talk. I wish you every success.